Let's make the big, grand panel discussion. Women and men empowering the clean tech decade together. Together we are stronger. Welcome also. Could you introduce yourself? Doris. Okay, Doris. From SMA.
Hello.
Doris came from Australia, so it was quite far. So, we make one big grand panel discussion. You received the program with our joint manifesto 2030. So this is the result of our work during the years between women and men. And as you could see also in the room, that it's quite courageous job to do, yes? But we never give up because we believe that it's so important, and we believe that only by working together we can make the clean tech transformation happen, yes? So, first of all, I would like to, all the speakers who agree with this, to raise hand. Who was? Okay, so already, already we agreed on this. And so I will not ask you, do you believe in this or not? Yes. But I would like to ask you, from your perspective, from your experience, from your work field, yes? Why do you believe in this? And why do you believe that we should never give up, and we should even more extend our initiative and make it global and make the transformation of the world happen? So who would like to be the first? Okay, Doris. Eicke. So Eicke. So our honorary chair, Professor Eicke Weber.
I think as our topic is empowering women, it is kind of awkward to start as a man, but I just want to emphasize what Tomasz just pointed out. The task ahead of us is enormous and enormously important. We are virtually up to save the world if we are successful, and if we fail, it will be not bad for us. We will still enjoy 10, 20 years pleasant life on this planet, but our children, our grandchildren, they will suffer. And I think what Tomasz emphasizes is really important. We should join hands. We should work together. Together we are stronger, because we all have to move politicians, public opinion, to do what anyway makes sense. Changing to renewables is economically the right thing to do, and I think it is very important that we use the joint power of men and women to really together push in the right direction. So I think it is very encouraging that we find this platform together, and we really want to work together. We will do this with our declaration to emphasize what we have to do together, and together we are stronger. That's the message. And maybe I pass now to you.
Thank you very much. Well, I can only second what Eicke said, but so the energy transition is only possible if we bring the 50% of the population into this game, and it will bring economic growth. And we're currently seeing in companies around the world, 8 government bodies around the world, that we have a people shortage, we have a talent shortage, and so we need to bring and invite, you know, women and men into the renewable energy industry in order to accomplish what we'd like to accomplish. But especially women, because we have an underrepresentation of women in the renewable energy industry, as we have across many tech sectors. And we want to get from participation of only 26% of women in the industry to 50. And we want to get women in leadership in our industry from the current 18% to a much higher percentage than we are currently seeing. And we can only do so by leading with example, by creating safe environments for women, and by creating a career path for them as well.
So maybe I can also, because Shoba, you just step down from the stage, and I brought you a chair. Yes, together we are stronger. And I would like to ask, okay, so 2 more chairs, okay, please. So Shoba, please join us on the stage. Now I would like to ask Dr. Tripta, because Dr. Rashi told me that you made such a long trip here, yes, and you come back to Hyderabad, yes, today. Hyderabad, and you are heading out, yes, so, and you skipped some important meetings to be here. You made this long trip to be here because you believe in this case. Why did you make it? And also, what would be your advice? How we should work together in order that for the next year, this room is full?
Thank you. Actually, from our mistakes, actually, we can learn a lot. So we should not be bothering that how this is, nobody has turned up for today's, but I'm sure this message will go, and next time we will have more audience, we'll make sure this. And I'll help Rashi to make that in the next time. But I know this is the real cause which is very close to my heart, and that's why I'm working with Tanushri also, and we are exclusively doing a lot of training programs only for women in South Asia. So if you really want to include them, this 50% population, you really need to provide them platform. You really need to provide them opportunity where they will be having good exposure, and they will be part of our entire effort for clean technology. And leadership also, they do a lot of contribution, and which we are seeing in India also. A lot of leaders are coming up, a lot of unconventional things women are heading. If I'll share with my experience, NPTI, National Power Training Institute, is more than 50 years, and first time they have women DG. So these things are really changing in India, and we are promoting, and they really makes a difference, because as you already mentioned, they works with a lot of dedication and with a lot of goodwill. So this will change the entire scenario. And hopefully next time, we will have a big show.
Maybe also, instead of making conferences, we should focus on the, touchable, tangible things, yes? Okay, so I would like to ask Mani Kurana. Yes, Mani. Thank you so much. Okay, okay. Shivani, yes? Okay, please.
So, thank you. First of all, thanks for inviting. And I think it's a very important subject, and that's why we are here. Together, we are in this together, and together we are stronger is true, but I think that together is not equal, and that's where the problem is, right? And in India, if you talk just about India, we know that the participation of women in the energy sector in renewable energy is about 11% and goes down further when you look at technical roles, and especially in project-based roles. And I think that's a problem. As Dr. Thakur said in an opening remarks, there are a lot of, India has a good number of women who enter STEM education, and then that doesn't translate to jobs. I think the first step the challenge that we face is enough affirmative action to make sure that, we are in this together and together equally. And I think that's where programs like VPower, which is a bank's program on increasing gender parity in the power sector, I think are key. And I think just to take it a little further, what I would like to say, as you just said, that maybe more than conferences, we need concrete action, and that's something that we do. And we have partners in India like NPTI and also Vision Mechatronics. I think it's important that we talk about the major slippages along why women don't join the power sector, and where do they fall out. And I think once we address those more concretely, I think not only would we have a better turnout, but I think, the agenda itself would gain more momentum. And I think women would bring their unique perspectives in furthering the clean tech decade. So I think it's very important that we look at that, affirmative action, and that's where programs like this, which provide that, become very important. And that's why I think we have such a huge commitment to that, both World Bank and the Asian Development Bank in South Asia, in VPower. So just to, what we do under, what VPAR does is, as I said, we work on increasing gender parity in the power sector. And we work on the entire, if I may call it for a lack of better word, the entire supply chain of how is the power sector fuel, how is the workforce comes into it. So we work right from STEM education to recruitment to career development to policy and institutional changes, which is where the major slippages are. We work with partners. It's a partner-led program. So we work with power sector. We work with utilities. We work with traditional power companies. But we also realize more and more that the major jobs are predicted from the renewable energy sector. That's where the major chunk of the jobs are coming from. And we are working, we are looking to work more and more with the private sector and with renewable energy companies. What we want to see is, that companies not only just recruit more women come into it, but we overall are able to provide a better environment for women to thrive and break what's the proverbial glass ceiling in the power sector, that they come into, leadership roles. Currently, we have around 12 partners in India, and we have, as of now, 33 partners in South Asia. And what we see is the largest activity that we do under VPAR in this is the focus on STEM education. And I think there's a huge emphasis on mentorship and in providing women role models. And I think that's why a panel like this becomes so important.
Thank you so much. So you just came to the stage, so I think I need to invite you, to take a floor. So Mr. Harendra Pratap Singh, he's a Joint Director, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Yes? And we just discussed in our panel discussion, so speakers first, they voted that they agree with our joint manifesto. They believe that women and men should work together during the CleanTech decade. And I would like to ask you, from your perspective, working with small enterprises, yes? How do you encourage women to be more active? What are the programs and what eventually kind of programs we could implement in other countries?
Namaskar. Good afternoon to everybody. And first I submit my apology for being late, because what I felt today is this, that it is very difficult to travel in Delhi and NCR, and I reminded New York City when everything was in a very unplanned manner, and even our Honorable Minister was very late, and the Americans people take it very seriously. So sorry for that. And what I was told to say that since I belong to the Ministry of MSME, and in this country, MSME is doing very well, and you will be happy to know that we have opened one MSME Udyam Aadhaar registration portal. And the day by day, the registration is increasing, and especially in this country, for women entrepreneurs, there are so many schemes, and I want to explain one very exclusive scheme, that is IC, International Cooperation Scheme, which gives 75% subsidy to women entrepreneurs to travel foreign countries to participate this kind of expo, whether it is Women Expo or any expo. So Government of India is doing a lot of things for strengthening women entrepreneurship in this country. And recently, one scheme, that is PM Vishwakarma scheme, has been launched by our Honorable Prime Minister. And this scheme is also going to benefit a large section of women, because the handworks are mainly operated in this country from the very ancient period by the women entrepreneurs, women artisans. So I think our country is doing very well, and the subject of this panel discussion, I am very impressed that there should be some latest technology and latest thinking to make this world more clean, whether it is technically or by thinking a lot of things And I want to know, and I want to disclose one more scheme, that is lean manufacturing scheme. It is especially for the entrepreneurship to make it for leanable. So there are so many schemes for women entrepreneurs, and I think the country is heading for the strengthening of women empowerment through the entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I would like to invite also Jaideep on the stage. Do we have a chair? Not yet. So the chair will come. So we have also more and more men on the stage. And now I would like to give a floor to Mani Kurana. Yes, so Mani. So first, before I give you the floor, so you were participating in some of our online conferences, yes? You are very active, and Dr. Rashi told me that you are one of the biggest supporters of energy storage in the country, yes? And yes, yes. And she said, Tomasz, you need to always invite money because, you know, we can have the best dream, but when there is no money behind, the dream cannot come true, yes? But also money, because I would like to ask you both, because you saw on one of the videos, there was Anastasia from China. So she's running one of the biggest funds with one of the biggest investors. And we are discussing together about some fund only devoted to women, yes, just to encourage women entrepreneurship. So first, I would like to ask you to share your experience from the World Bank. How do you work with women? But also second, what would be your advice when we are thinking about setting up of this fund? And maybe we can think about some public-private partnership.
I'm going to add the question for you, wherein you have to speak on energy storage and how energy storage is going to transform the clean tech decade, and when are we going to get the financing for that?
You had to get battery storage there, right? Okay, so that's the easiest part. Let me start with that one, because that is something that comes out when we are sleeping also now. It's as simple as that. Okay, so you're here for the Renewable Energy Expo. You know how renewable energy works. You know how variable it is. And if it's that variable, you really cannot trust it, or you cannot switch it on and off when you want. It's not there the way you would have the other sources of energy to be. So how do you make renewable energy more reliable, and so that you can actually be completely dependent on renewable energy, is through energy storage. It's as simple as that. So I don't know why people make energy storage a complex topic. It is not. As we were talking, energy storage has been there. I'm sure all of you have inverters in your house. You've used it. Now we are just talking on a bigger scale, new chemistries coming in, and we are talking it not in one house, we are just talking it at the grid level. That's about it. And when I talk about energy storage, it can be battery or pump storage. Now that's a big debate about how many hours we are using it for, what is the cost, what is the environment and social. And I think I don't think for India at least, we can say it will only be battery storage or it will only be pump storage. It will be both of them. There's no doubt about that one. We need that. At the scale that we have to achieve our renewable energy targets, at the scale that we have been set as a net zero target, we need both of them to scale up. Having said that, what is very clear is that the skill set for the same is not there. And be it this, or be it any new technology that we are talking about. Again, CCUS is not a new technology, but it has not been used the way, it hasn't been developed or exercised in India the way it's across the world. As we go into new areas, there's a huge potential for skilling the manpower. And I think that is where the entire, if you really look at the opportunity of that, we should focus on women in these new areas. It's very simple. You have a huge disparity between the workforce. We've discussed that. Men, women, the numbers are very different. We need to engage women.
Now, as Tanushree had alluded, under the V-Power program of World Bank, what we were trying to do is catch them at every level. The school, the college. When they're in college, they should be aware of what are the different programs there are, what are the different technologies they can be trained in. When they go to workforce, how do you retain them in workforce? I think that's another thing we all have to be very clear about. Men and women, when they you may say they are equal, but they're not. It's very simple, and I think if you have to really engage women in the workforce and retain them there, it is important to realize that in most of the houses, the mother, the woman is the primary caregiver. Now you have to ensure that even if she does leave the workforce for 2 years, how do you bring her in? What are the different mechanisms? First, try to retain her. If you lose her, then what are the different mechanisms you can actually get her back into the workforce? It's important. If India has to grow at the rate that we have projected, and we have to achieve the things that we have set out for ourselves, you cannot do without women in the workforce. So that is something that, relies where the extra bit is needed to retain the women in the workforce and to engage them and do that. And lastly, on the point that I was making earlier, the engagement that we have with RE, integration of RE, going forward with the industrial decarbonization, the e-mobility, there are huge skill gaps that we have across the sectors. And we should make it a mandate to train more and more women in that. These are new areas. You're not taking people's job away. You're creating new jobs. And the best is how to make sure that more and more women get skilled in these new technologies. Thank you.
And you are working with the new technologies. So do you think that there is a more willingness from women towards clean tech comparing to the old energies? Sorry? There is more willingness from women to be involved in renewables, in the clean technologies, comparing to the, let's say, old energies?
Frankly, anyone who has kids going to school nowadays, they are taught so young in school about clean energy. The first person in the house to stop you from, littering is the kid nowadays. They are very conscious, and that's where the woman comes into the picture. If she's working for clean energy, it's taken as a positive even in families. So even in the restrictive families, as we say, it's all about the clean energy. The other thing is you're not taking away jobs. It's clean energy jobs are all new jobs which are created. They're new skill sets, there's new training, and there women can be used better.
And what do you think about this idea of having like a devoted fund to financing projects driven by women entrepreneurs or, for the startups?
See, any fund devoted to women is a very good idea. But having said that, we have a lot of experience, right, in India. Home loans are cheaper for women. Okay, so only on paper, they'll be the owner for the home loan, just for the home. So you have to realize, so you have to see the intent is right. If it's administrated in the right manner, perfect. But you don't want it misused, where, the woman is only signing the papers, and at the back, there are, loads of men working. So you'll have to see the implementation part of it. That's
so actually it's opposite than in Europe. In Europe it's always a man, but at the end of the day it's a woman who are keeping, the wallet. So actually we are switching now to other continents. Yeah, we spoke about India. Now let's speak about Africa. Yes, so Mansour, I give you a mic. And this is very interesting actually because Mansour, he is living in Japan for 30 years, so let's say in his mentality is more Japanese. He's very famous in Japan on television, yes. And also he was, yesterday he was showing in the Airtel that he was playing in the movie, Indian movie. Yes. So he's in CleanTech, but also he's a famous person in the media. And Mansour, so you have a Japanese wife. Yes, you have Japanese kids, Japanese African, and you can compare Africa and Japan. And from your perspective, how do you see working together by men and women in both cultures? What are the differences? What are similarities, and how we can eventually improve it?
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Mansour. I am from Senegal originally. I've been living in Japan for 31 years. I met Tomasz the first time in Tokyo in 2014. And the first time I was invited to the club was in Sao Paulo, 2018. This is my first time to come to India, but I feel like I am very much related to India by different things. The first thing I have to mention is when you were growing up in Senegal, Indian movies were very popular. We used to watch Akbar Anthony, Armita. So there are many Indian Indophiles in Senegal. The second thing is I love Indian food. If I travel around the world, every country I go to, what I look for is an Indian restaurant. So when I find an Indian restaurant, I'm safe, so I can have my good food. What Tomasz has mentioned, it is by accident. 9 years ago, there was an Indian movie called Yangistan. Yangistan, when they came to Japan to shoot, the producer had some trouble with casting agencies. I think they were American agencies. The difference in culture was very wide because this man is an old man, well respected, and the way people were talking with him, treating with him, and asking him to pay quickly were not good for him. So somebody introduced him to me, and he gave me the casting. I did all the casting for the UN scene, and he gave me a part to play as the UN Secretary General. So if you watch Yangistan, you just search Yangistan UN, you will see a small part of mine in that movie. Yes. Yes, not a hero, but okay. I like India very much. As I have mentioned, you hear all the stories I've mentioned. India is a very attractive country to me. And what Tomasz asked me about the culture differences between Africa and Japan, I am an African man, as you can see. And I've been living in Japan for 31 years. My wife is Japanese. We have 4 children. I believe in all cultures, in all traditional cultures, that there's a difference between man and woman. And but we need to also acknowledge that all of us, we depend, the first person we depend on for the first 10 years, if not more, is woman. We were born, we cannot do anything. Woman took care of us until the age of sometimes 10 years, sometimes 13 years, sometimes even 20 years. And when we get married also, women take care of us all. Also, our entire life, we are depending on women. But now here what we're talking about is the modern world, and then how we empower women, or how we make women equal. We are equal, of course, but how do we give them equal chances? I think people like Dr. Rashi Gupta is a very good example, and Mary O'Daniel. Tomasz, you are very good. We have to thank you very much, because in your club, in the club, the most influential or powerful people are women. I can set an example as Dr. Rashi Gupta, Mary O'Daniel, Laura, and so on. And the young lady sitting next to us, I don't know him, don't know her very much, but also you can see that most influential people here are women. But my suggestion is, for men, we as men, what we can do is not to oppose to what women propose. Yes. This is the best thing we can do. Yes. And I mean, yes, this is the least thing we can do. We do not oppose to what women propose. Women know better than us what they are facing, what is their situation. So it is good for us to be humble, not to oppose to what they propose in terms of solving this situation. And to encourage people like Dr. Rashi Gupta to bring more women like her to set example for young women growing up. Also to try to elect more women as decision makers, so that when women need something, there's no man to oppose to that. I hope I'm well understood, but I think my expression is not very much fluent. But this is what I wanted to say, Thomas. I don't know if I answered to your question very much.
Yes, it was quite good. Yes.
Thank you.
That's why I always listen to what Dr. Rashi says. And at the end of the day, there is always a good result. So Uday, please join us. So we made a one big panel discussion. Uday attended last year our Empowering Women session, and he's a founder of e-mobility company, yes, Omega. Yes, exactly. So last year, you were one of the most, I would say, excited guys on the stage about empowering women. You were telling us that you have the policy to have more and more women. It was your big plan. And I would like to ask you, how did you implement this plan, and how this plan helped you to grow your company during the last year?
Thank you, Tomasz. Great to see you here. Obviously, great to see, Delhi traffic is always bad, so apologies. I know. But I think really, for me, there's never a discussion of should women be, part of this change or not. In India today, and I don't think anywhere in the world, it has to be, something. I'll just talk economics, I'll talk numbers. 48% of this country is women. And we want to be a 5 trillion economy. We want to be one of the third largest economy in the world. If we do not use, and the word in India is nari. Nari means women. Women's Shakti. Shakti means power, right? If we do not use that, I think all these speeches by the Honorable Prime Minister, as well as with Transport Minister, and all of them, is a waste of time. I think, and the other thing, I used to be a hedge fund manager in Europe and America for a long time. Numbers matter. I find productivity in our organization, whether it's our steel company, whether it's our Omega, it's the mobility company, they're more productive. The guys, they're all over the shop, right? They're not focused. The productivity we get out of women is much higher. So as a business, it makes sense. And I think, at OSM, we've made a pledge to make 50% of our entire workforce women by 2030. I think I want to do it before. I think even on the production floor, I think we are moving, whether it's the machineries, whether it's in the automotive part, whether it is in the offices, or whether it's in our service, we're seeing a huge amount, or whether it's in our mobility company. I think this country needs to make sure that we have this, and it cannot be driven. I think it is something that has to be in our DNA. I don't want to, well, you don't need to justify that there should be more women in these. I think it needs to happen. And I think, we're seeing more and more. I'm seeing, people like Dr. Rashi, I call her my boss, right? She's always, leading the way. And I think it's not, and I want everybody to be all young women. I go, I'll give you an example. I go to a lot of these rural parts of India in tier 2, 3, 4 cities, which I never, I know streets of Paris and London and Switzerland more than streets of Delhi or, of India. And I go to the little girls and I said, the first thing, don't be scared of anybody. And number 2, you can do anything. And I'll say, we can all be Dr. Rashi, or, you know, all of the wonderful women sitting here. I think we can all take role models from there. And I think at least, you know, for me, if, you know, for what I want, the new India, or you want to call it Bharat, if we do not have women leading the charge, I think we're not going to get there. I think it's just never going to happen. And I think we've got to make it happen if we believe that we want an India to be a world leader. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, Jaideep, who is representing International Solar Energy Society, yes. We had a short talk before the conference. You were mentioning about your programs within the organization. And I would like to ask you how do you see the role of women in your organization, and you know, how you are encouraging more and more women to enter into R&D, yes, and into academia.
Okay. A very good afternoon, yeah, I think, and namaste. I'm Jaideep Malviya. I'm in the renewable energy sector since 30 years, and I'm also the board director, International Solar Energy Society. You see, Tomasz, the first thing, you know, when I shared to my wife, you know, I'm invited for this session, she said, what is this Adam doing amongst all these madams? Right? You are talking about women empowering this, nevertheless. Okay. I'll share you a case study about how we empowered women. We ran a national toll-free solar energy helpline for the government of India for 10 years. And we only have women's staff, only women's staff. Of course, before the COVID, it had to be shut down. We handled over 1 million calls. And all these girls, you know, who were there, they got trained. And today, all of them are placed somewhere or the other in the solar energy industry. In fact, one of them has become a senior sales marketing manager for the rooftop solar system. And she didn't even have a technical background. So that's the power. You know, in our country, since you mentioned about the film, you know, I saw 68 times Amar Akbar Anthony. Yeah, that was the last count. Yeah. I'm sure all those who are here from India, do you all know Dhanno, the character? Dhanno character? Yes? What a brave fight she put up. That was the inspiration. These are all Dhannos here, believe me. No, Dhanno is the absolute one, because even in the tough times she fought. I'm not telling you all about Basantis and all, but then the Dhanno. So that was the most success case study. Be it R&D, anything. I do a lot of schools training program. And today I see, you know, even the girls are excited to know more. The women workforce is increasing. Hats off really to Tomasz for taking up this session. It's wonderful. The women workforce has to be encouraged. So that's the success. And I'm sure that as time progresses, we are definitely going to address, you know, the gender inequality. It's going to come up. One more short, you know, a case study I'll share you. I am bi-social by heart. You know, I'm a Rotarian, and I'm the South Asia director on the renewable energy. The first electric automotive, the three-wheeler was launched in India 5 years back. And we made it a point, a lady driver was donated this particular electric three-wheeler. Her husband was also driving, but we empowered her, and it was a dual income generation. And can you believe where the inspiration came from? Do you all know the company Piaggio? Anybody here? Right? The Italian automaker. They have 100% women workforce. 100% women workforce. Their factory, the industry is in Pune, from where I come. That was the inspiration. So I'm sure women can do wonderful work. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. I think Dr. Rashi wanted to comment on that.
I want to add a perspective here. See, what happens is when we are talking of, you know, this clean tech industry, or rather the power sector being dominated by men, or any other sector for that matter, where it has been for so many years that men have taken the lead to take care of the bread and butter of the family, or, you know, any major STEM role. The point now is, you don't have to be scared. This goes out to all the men across. Please don't be scared. We are not here to take your places. We are not here to replace you at all. We cannot. We don't want to. We are just asking for a little more space. We are just trying to create some space for ourselves. And this is across the globe. It's not India, it's not Australia, it's not Germany, it's not China, it's not India, it's everywhere that we are trying to create some space for ourselves. And why do we need that space? We are feeling left out. Do we deserve to feel left out? We bring everyone to existence, and still we are left out. We don't deserve that. We need to be included. We all are talking about diversity, inclusion. In fact, when we term the earth also as Mother Earth, we are giving it a feminine feeling, you know, Mother Earth. But we have forgotten to include her as well. We have forgotten to include the mother and the initiatives required to change the fate of Mother Earth today. So when we talk of diversity, inclusion, we need to include every aspect, not just the gender, not just money for that matter, not my dear money here, money. I'm talking of the finances. I'm talking of all the energies, and I'm talking to include even the Mother Earth. Our climate initiatives are not supposed to be just greenwashing. They have to be actually something that are going to transform the people, the planet, and the power. All the 3 Ps have to be transformed. And how can you do that without giving us some space into this existence? So again, a message to all the men out there, all the young boys and girls. We are not to replace anyone. We have our own unique place and a unique space in the planet. We are here to make the most out of this. We are here to make a mark. We are here to do some good for the people, for the planet, and most importantly, ourselves. We are here to create a value for us, for you, and for everyone. So please do not be scared. Please do not think of women coming into this sector as competition. Please look at collaboration. We all can collaborate, and that is the message we are even trying to give here with this conference and session, is that together we are stronger. We have to be in this together, as all the messages also that we saw previously being played, each one of them is saying, please include everyone, whether it is young children, young boys and girls, it is women and men like us, adults sitting here on the stage, offline, online, who is joining us from across the world, who are here in this room as well. We all have to contribute for this cause together to be successful. Not just stronger, but also successful. And if we are not successful in this decade, we have lost the battle. We have lost the battle forever. And we are so powerful, you know. We do not want to lose any battles, right? None of us want to lose any battle for that matter, whether it is a battle of life, whether it's a battle in the business, in the workplace, whether it is the battle we face every day, there is some or the other battle each one of us is going through, whether it's a man or it's a woman, it's a child, it's an old person, everyone. But do we want to lose those battles? I'm sure everyone will answer here as no, we don't want to lose any battle. So if we don't want to lose those battles, why should we lose this battle as well? We will not. We will win this battle, but only and only if we are together in this with an equal participation with an equal recognition and opportunity for everyone that is coming along. And that is something that each one of us has to work, and then it is going to be a geometric progression. I work for 2-3 of them, you work, and those 2-3 work for everybody else. So, it's easy. It's not difficult to make this movement a reality, but only when we believe that we can do it, we can change, and then we can create a full successful transformation of what each one of us is in our own silos working. But now it's time to come together. So together we are successful, together we are stronger.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashi. So maybe last word to Daniel. So Daniel, you are coming from Europe, but you are working for the American company, and for sure, in America, women empowerment is very important, and the role of women in the industry is also very important, yes? Could you share on that, and what is your experience by working with women? And do you believe in this Together We Are Stronger initiative?
Thank you. So yes, I'm working for an American company. I grew up in Europe, and when I started in electronics, I saw that, there was no woman. In the 90s, in the education system, in the school, there was women go into housekeeping, men go into handcraft. So we're divided in the school even. And I think that's an education process which has changed over the time now, and I'm happy about that. I have 2 daughters, a large one which is graduating now, and I see that there is the change, and she can do what she wants. She has all the power and all the possibilities. Which is, I think, a good change. And I see that also in other areas. In our company, in the technology part, we have almost 50% women, which is a good, and the leader is a woman, which is, you can see the empowerment and the change, which is positive.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. And I propose now, because money needs to leave and some people needs to leave. So first, let's sign our joint manifesto, yes, and make photo together. And then afterwards, because you see, like, it's great to have conferences, but I think it's even more important to take action, yes. So I propose first we sign the manifesto, yes. So you make like in the bank. You have the, something that you sign before getting the loan. So I hope that you believe in this. And then we'll have just very short bullet points on the next steps and next action. Yes. So I would like to invite all the distinguished speakers to the signature ceremony. Do we have more pens also? Yes. So I would like to ask you to stand up. Yes. And we go to sign. So one by one, starting with Rashi. And let's make first women. So money. We should mix back, okay. So Uday, you're next. And please, Mani, stay for the family photo. Yes. Yes. Ready, please. Yes. Did you sign? everybody signed almost. Okay. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. So, only me? And now I would like to, maybe let's take, so now we'll make a group photo, but also we have some souvenirs from the organizers.
Yes, please. Group picture.
I'm just thinking.
Come.
We have also some souvenirs from the organizers. Okay. How do we start? Here or here? Oh. So we can make 2 rows. And let's remove the badges. Let's remove the badges. 2 rows. Let's remove the badges. Not nice in the photo. Not nice. No badges. Please, can you remove? Not nice. Yes. Then we have the side. From this side also. No, let's mix. Dr. Tripta.